the opening race for the American Canadian Tour Late Model Sportsman Regional Series, over 50 drivers attempted to qualify for only 24 starting positions at the tight High Bank Thunder Road Speedway in Barrie, Vermont. Former track champion Greg Berger-Blake started his Chevrolet Lumina 9th in the field and slowly worked his way to the front on a very cold racetrack. Blake passed pole sitter Scott Carpenter on the 49th lap and went on to victory in the Parkstown 100, finishing ahead of Dave Whitcomb and Randy Potter. Today, the teams of the Regional Series have traveled to the Oxford Plains Speedway for round number 2 in the $135,000 8-race American Canadian Tour Regional Series. Welcome to Oxford Plains Speedway, everybody. Maine Dodge Dealers 100 for the American Canadian Tour Late Model Sportsman Regional Series. Things kind of accelerated today. We've already had rain one time for about an hour rain delay, so we're trying to get things moving along here with the American Canadian Tour. Your pole sitter for the Maine Dodge Dealers 100 is Norm Andrews in the number 2 Vermont. Eric Williams will start outside. He's the rookie in the number 71. Stacy Cahoon in the 83 will go 3rd. Red Mead in car number 1 goes in 4th spot. Scott Robbins in number 72, the main competitor, will go 5th. 6th will be Gary Caron in the 22 Vermont. The number 0, Brent Dragon, the son of Harmon Beaver Dragon, goes in 7th. Starting 8th, the number 50, George Stone out of Riverside Speedway in New Hampshire. Number 9 will be Pete Fecto, the Morrisville, Vermont competitor. Randy Potter, the former track champion over at the Riverside Speedway, will line up in the 10th starting spot in car number 02. So Potter to go 10th in the 02. He rounds out the top 10. Starting in the 11th spot is Leon Heckbert in car number 5. Dave Whitcomb in 25 goes in 12th. Row number 7, Bill Lagerson in the 2 main on the inside. The 27 Vermont, Greg Berger-Blake will start on the outside. He's the point leader. Ben Rowe in number 12 main starts on the inside of row 8. And on the outside, Spencer Robbins in the number 27 main. He's the brother of Scott Robbins, who is in the 72 main, starting up in the top 10. So Spencer Robbins will start in the 16th position. Starting 17th will be Jim Silly in car number 68. Chuck Beatty in the 54 will be on the outside of Silly. Row number 10 on the inside is Lance Furno in the number 31. Dwayne Lanfear will start outside of Furno in car number 40. Chris Hadstad in number 91, he's from Maine, will start in the inside of row number 11. And the 21 New Hampshire, the lady driver on the regional series, Tracy Belrose, will start up on the outside. Row number 12 on the inside, Richard Bootsy in the 21 Vermont. Brian Hoard, car number 45, the former International Series champion, starts 24th. Inside row number 13, car number 14 is Phil Scott. Outside of Scott is Scott Carpenter in number 36. Row number 14, the 00, Steve Miller. And outside of Miller, the number 12 Vermont, the Teddy Bear car, that's Chet DeVerney Jr. out of Georgia, Vermont. Row number 15 will be car number 6, Ron Gooden out of New Hampshire on the inside. And Scott Luce, car number 60, will start up on the outside. Row number 16 on the inside, Bridgeton, Maine's Frank Snow in car number 3. And on the outside of Snow is Doug Averill in car 85. Inside of row 17, Mike Bruno, the 22 New York. He's a former dirt tracker, and he's running for rookie honors this year. And on the outside of Bruno is the car number 8, Henry Hudson. So Hudson will start up in the 34th position. And in the final row, on the inside is Tim Cook in the number 17, and outside of Cook is Ron Henry in car number 16. While we have a chance, we'll take a quick break and be back with the start of the Maine Dodge Dealers 100 for the American Canadian Tour Late Model Sportsman Regional Series at Oxford Plains Speedway.
Fruits and vegetables. You know, you ought to eat more of them. Yeah, eating 5 servings a day is a great way to stay healthy. You'll feel better and you'll have energy, too. Yeah, that's what the people from the National Cancer Institute say. After all, you are what you eat.
When I was young, I discovered music and practiced to become a musician. Later, I joined the Navy and became an officer and learned about discipline and teamwork and doing your best. Then playing pro ball, the dream of a lifetime. These are the things I love. These are my choices. But none of them would have come true if I hadn't made an important decision a long time ago. I don't do drugs. That's what's worked for me. Think about it.
Helmets on, and now our mouth guards.
Why mouth guards?
You should always wear a mouth guard while playing sports, whether you're playing baseball, basketball, skateboarding, football, or riding your bicycle. Mouth guards protect your teeth and your smile, and mouth guards are cool.
Cool.
In times of need, all across the land, we're your friends and neighbors who lend a helping hand. When we were needed, we were there. Americans at their best. When we're needed, we'll be there.
Welcome back to Oxford Plains Speedway, the American Canadian Tour Late Model Sportsman Regional Series, getting set for the start of the Maine Dodge Dealers 100, race number 2 in the $135,000 8-race series. Scott Brimblecombe here at Oxford Plains Speedway to bring you the action. The light is down on the Dodge pace car. Norm Andrews and the rookie Eric Williams starting on the front row, and then we have Stacy Cahoon and Red Mead in row number 2. Row number 3 is the 72 of Scott Robbins and the 22 Vermont of Gary Caron. Pace car comes in. We're set to go racing at Oxford. Green flag is out. Norm Andrews takes the jump on the inside. Here's Cahoon to the inside of Williams. Cahoon moves to the second spot. Williams battling back on the outside in the 71. Battle for the second spot between Stacy Cahoon, who has a half a car length advantage over Eric Williams. Here's Red Mead looking to the inside of Williams for third. Norm Andrews is the leader. Stacy Cahoon is in second. Red Mead is third. Eric Williams is fourth, and Gary Caron holds the fifth spot. Norm Andrews out of Warren, Vermont, the Kingsbury construction machine. Now we look back in the field. There you see the 0-2 of Randy Potter, the great campaigner out of Riverside Speedway in Groveton, New Hampshire, going up against another Riverside competitor, the 50 of George Stone. Back to the lead. Norm Andrews, caution flag is out. Ben Rowe spinning in turn number 2, gets hit by Bill Lagerson. Other cars scurrying. Pace car comes out. We're under yellow with 3 laps complete in the Maine Dodge Dealers 100. There you see Ben Rowe. It looks like he might be stuck on the top of the track there. And there you see the tires spinning around. So Rowe unable to get started. He's going to have to get a push off there, and he goes a lap down already early in the event. Ben Rowe, so far not having very good luck here in the regional series, unable to qualify for the Partstown 100, the first event at Thunder Road. There you see the push truck come in and gives Ben Rowe a little push, the Coca-Cola car, and oh, that left front tire does not look like it's in the right position, and it definitely is not. Problems, probably a broken suspension part on the Coca-Cola number 12 for Ben Rowe, the son of the American Canadian Tour champion Mike Rowe, who has over 100 victories here at Oxford Plains Speedway. And Ben Rowe, Rowe almost hitting Lance Furno, so there could be brake problems on car number 12 for Ben Rowe, and he'll have to take that into the pit area, that Chevrolet Lumina. And Jim Silly, one of the veteran campaigners on the ACT, having problems as well. He's entering pit road from the wrong way, and he will go a lap down. And remember, it's 100 laps total. The last 5 must be run under green flag, but not necessarily consecutively. So Silly's a lap down. Rowe is a lap down already. And Jim Silly has put the window net down. He's talking to the ACT official at the end of pit road, and Jim Silly is out of car number 68. Tough break for the veteran campaigner. There you see Doug Averill in the number 85. He's on pit road for some service. Now coming back out. Springfield Kennel Grand Prix. And they push Jim Silly back towards his pit area. So a tough break. And Ben Rowe brings the number 12 on the pit road for service, and he's definitely got major problems on the front end, the left front of car number 12. The Chevrolet Lumina. We'll have to see if the Coca-Cola team can get Ben Rowe back in this field for the Maine Dodge Dealers 100. He's already down a few laps. After 5 laps, Norm Andrews is the leader. We'll be back after this.
In the last 2 years, the use of seatbelts has saved an estimated 18,000 lives. If buckling up can save so many lives on the road, imagine what it can do on the water. Boat smart. Buckle up. It can save your life.
In a world of uncertainty, there will always be a need for those proud few who can prove they are a world apart. Maybe you can be one of us, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Right now, Americans 18 to 80-something are using their heads to solve the world's toughest problems. Today's Peace Corps volunteers are effective business advisors, among the first to teach AIDS prevention and the world's largest environmental workforce. More than 140,000 workers in health, agriculture, and education have served in over 100 countries. If you've got a good head, an open mind, and a big heart, find out more about joining the Peace Corps. Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
He didn't look. He didn't listen.
It's like him believing that if I could see him, that I could stop the train.
He drove right out in front of me. Didn't he know that sign meant yield?
Takes me 1.5 miles to stop. 1.5 miles.
The whole time I'm just praying. Praying that she would just move. She didn't move.
Ben Rowe still on pit road. We're getting set for the restart. Pace car set to come in. Scott Brimblecombe at Oxford Plains Speedway for the American Canadian Tour Late Model Sportsman Regional Series. Maine Dodge Dealers 100. Norm Andrews is the leader. Stacy Cahoon is in second. Red Mead goes third. Gary Caron is fourth. And Eric Williams fifth, with Scott Robbins in sixth. Brent Dragon and George Stone are next in line. And here we come. Green flag is out. Good start between Andrews and Cahoon. Nose to nose. Now Andrews with a 1/2 car length. They go down the back stretch. Cahoon tries to pull back up on the outside, but Andrews will take the full car length lead. Here's Brent Dragon down on the inside of the 72. Scott Robbins, Dragon in the 0. He'll take the spot. Randy Potter in the 02 now looks to the inside of Robbins. Dave Whitcomb, who is second at Thunder Road and number 2 man in the points, he pulls by Scott Robbins as well. Robbins going backwards in a hurry now. George Stone to the inside of Robbins as well. The number 5 of Leon Heckberg back there. Here's your leader once again, Stormin' Norman Andrews in car number 2. Stacy Cahoon is second. Red Mead is in the 3rd spot. Gary Caron goes 4th, and Eric Williams is 5th. Norm Andrews qualified for the Partstown 100 at Thunder Road. Was unable to make the field, however. He had problems after qualifying and unable to start. So now Norm Andrews started from the pole. He won the qualifying heat. 3 wide down the backstretch. Brian Horton, the 45, the point leader, 27, Vermont. That's Greg Berger Blake and the 72 of Robbins. They put him 3 wide. Hoare decided to back out of that one, however. Don't blame you. You really can't run 3 wide here at Oxford Plains Speedway. Back into the lead, it is Norm Andrews with Stacy Cahoon still holding on to the 2nd spot. Cahoon came out of that Riverside Speedway. Now Cahoon looks to the inside of Andrews. He makes the challenge. Andrews doesn't give him any room, however. Cahoon down low, Andrews up on the outside. Stacy Cahoon in car number 83. The A. Withers Trucking, Ron Wells Trucking, Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Looking down low on Storm and Norman Andrews. And Andrews holding the lead. He got a little loose coming out of turn number 4. Got a little high. Here's Cahoon to the inside. Stacy Cahoon down the backstretch. Andrews gets a better jump off the corner. Here's Cahoon coming back into turn 3. They bring him down by, this time across the stripe. I think it was Cahoon by inches. Red Mead holding on to the 3rd spot, and Gary Caron lurking in 4th in the 22. Andrews back on the outside of Cahoon. Great run here in the Maine Dodge Dealers 100 for the ACT Late Model Sportsman Regional Series. This time, Andrews will lead him down to the stripe by inches. Storman, Norman Andrews in the 2, Vermont. 83, Stacy Cahoon. Andrews from Warren, Vermont. Cahoon from St. Johnsbury, Vermont. Great battle here in the Maine Dodge Dealers 100. Red Mead, the great racing veteran out of Hyde Park, Vermont, goes 3rd in Colchester, Vermont. Gary Caron is 4th with Eric Williams out of Hyde Park, Vermont, running in the 5th spot. Cahoon with a half a car length down the backstretch. Andrews coming back on the outside. Mead staying to the inside of Andrews, right on the back bumper of Cahoon. It's still Stacy Cahoon in the 83, your leader. Norm Andrews battling on the outside to try to get it back in car number 2. Mead goes in the 3rd spot in car number 1, the Ford Thunderbird. It's Chevrolet up front in positions 1 and 2. Cahoon and Andrews in the Chevrolets. Mead in the Thunderbird. Stacy Cahoon on the inside with Norm Andrews up on the outside. Andrews gets a little high that time, and it looked like Mead was going to come through for the 2nd spot. Cahoon once again sliding through turn 1 and 2, pushed Andrews a little bit high, and Mead looked down low once again. It's Stacy Cahoon from St. Johnsbury, Vermont, the leader in car number 83. Gary Caron sitting back there in the 4th spot. Eric Williams, the rookie driver, having a good run in car number 71, Catamount Studios machine. And he came up out of the Flying Tiger ranks out of Thunder Road and Airborne Raceways. But still, for the lead, that's where the big story is on the track right now, with Stacy Cahoon in car number 83 and Norm Andrews in the 2, Red Mead in the 1. Andrews has a little bit of an advantage into turn 3. They come out of 4. They'll go across the stripe, and that was awful close. I think Andrews had it by inches over Stacy Cahoon that time by. Now, Andrews makes the run again on the outside, has the slight advantage. And Norm Andrews has less than a car length lead over Stacy Cahoon. Early in the Maine Dodge Dealers 100 here at Oxford Plains Speedway. Of course, this is one of the big tune-ups for that $30,000 True Test Paints 100 for the regional series coming up later this season. Tim Cook, number 17 Maine, having a problem on the backstretch. He's going slow. It could be a flat tire on car number 17. Cook keeps it up on the outside. He'll try to get around to pit road. Sparks coming off the car. And it is a flat tire, a flat right front. And the leader after 27 laps is Norm Andrews. Stacy Cahoon is 2nd.
Listen to the heartbeat of the earth. All life depends on that beat. The earth has always provided for us. Today, as in the past, we must keep this heart strong. Give back to the earth. Call 1-800-THE-SOIL for your free action packet. Harmony, a partnership with a healthy land.
Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if your heart is young. And here is the best part. You'll have a head start if you are among the ones whose heart is young.
It is a test, not just of strength, but of the power of the mind. And if you complete the journey, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Does anyone here think there'll be a cure for AIDS?
Definitely.
How do you know?
I don't know, but you have to believe. Some people don't believe AIDS is a problem that affects everyone.
And that's the biggest danger. People should realize AIDS is a threat to everyone.
I think it's just a matter of time before this was brought under control.
Some of us don't have the time.
Back at Oxford Plains Speedway, Stormin Norman Andrews out of Warren, Vermont, a multi-time champion in the state of Vermont. Into lap traffic in car number 2 is your leader. Stacy Cahoon currently holds the second spot, and Redmead is third. There's the point leader, Greg Berger Blake in car number 27. He picked up the win in the Partstown 100 over at Thunder Road in the first event in the regional series for the American Canadian Tour this season. Blake back about midfield. There you see Andrews getting set to put a lap on number 21 Vermont. That's Richard Bootsy, another multi-time champion in the state of Vermont, and he's also coming up on the 60 of Scott Luce. Luce got a bad start today. He had to pit on the parade lap and for a missing gas cap, and you caught Phil Scott going slow in car number 14 up on the outside there, so we'll have to see what the problem is with that. Maybe a flat tire, and Phil Scott will be able to get it onto pit road. But Andrews on the outside of Luce, and there's Phil Scott slow down the backstretch, looking for a spot so he can get down to the inside and pit car number 14, the Shoney's Thunderbird. And lots of traffic. Cars are spread out. It's typical here at Oxford Plains Speedway. The cars do get spread out quite a bit. You had 36 cars starting today. Phil Scott just unable to find a spot, and caution flag will come out for Phil Scott in car number 14 out of Morrisville, Vermont. So Phil Scott brings out the yellow flag, and he's at least 2 laps down at this point in car number 14. So Phil Scott will have to get a push into the pit area, and we are feeling a few sprinkles here at Oxford Plains Speedway. It rained earlier on today. We were telling you at the beginning of the show we had to kind of push up our program today. It did rain during the B feature. We had about an hour rain delay, and now the sprinkles are coming down. Norm Andrews had a half a car length lead over Stacy Cahoon, and that's a race now after 44 laps. Andrews the leader, Cahoon is second, Gary Caron is third, Meade is fourth, and Brent Dragon is fifth.
Thousands of women will lose a child to AIDS simply because they didn't get an HIV test when they were pregnant. You see, there's now treatment that can help stop the spread of HIV from mother to baby, which gives children of HIV-infected mothers something they never had before: a chance. If you're pregnant, please get an HIV test.
Change. It's coming faster. Only those with high-tech skills will excel.
Power, spear 1-1, holding short of 1-6.
I'm getting those skills now in the Air Force. It's giving me powerful tools, education, training, and experience. With Air Force skills, I can keep up with tomorrow's changes, and so can you.
Hi, I'm Piper the Owl. Be pipeline smart, be pipeline safe.
You might fly over all our 200,000 miles of pipeline and never find a leak. But if you did, a sharp eye would spot a spill, a cloud, or vegetation that didn't look right. You might smell something unusual or hear a strange sound. If any of these things happen, avoid making sparks, leave quickly on foot, and call the police, other authorities, and pipeline companies. Remember this word to the wise.
Be pipeline smart. Be pipeline safe.
Pictures of hope from Child Reach. Families and communities freeing themselves from the grip of the world's cruelest poverty with the help of Child Reach sponsorship. If you'd like to be a part of these wonderful pictures, call 1-800-346-1100. 1-800-346-1100. Child Reach sponsorship. Yes, it works.
Back at Oxford Plains Speedway, rain has halted the Maine Dodge Dealers 100 after 47 laps. We'll be back with more after this.
In the last 2 years, the use of seat belts has saved an estimated 18,000 lives. If buckling up can save so many lives on the road, imagine what it can do on the water. Boat smart. Buckle up. It can save your life.
In a world of uncertainty, there will always be a need for those proud few who can prove they are a world apart. Maybe you can be one of us, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Look, Doc, I don't know how to say this, but I've been having a little trouble. You know? Nah, it's not important. Yeah, it is important, so I'm just gonna say it. I can't say it.
Can't say what, Mr. Elick? You have a problem?
No, I'm fine, Doc.
Learn how to talk to your doctor. Call for a free booklet, 1-800-222-2225.
Right now, Americans 18 to 80-something are using their heads to solve the world's toughest problems. Today's Peace Corps volunteers are effective business advisors, among the first to teach AIDS prevention and the world's largest environmental workforce. More than 140,000 workers in health, agriculture, and education have served in over 100 countries. If you've got a good head, an open mind, and a big heart, find out more about joining the Peace Corps. Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
Here at Oxford Plains Speedway in the Maine Dodge Dealers 100, Scott Brimblecombe bringing you the call of the race today. Second race in the ACT Late Model Sportsman Regional Series. The rain delay is over. They've dried the track. You can see some puddles out in the infield on pit road. Pit road's going to be a little bit dangerous coming in, but they have been out there sweeping the water off and trying to dry the track as much as they possibly can and get it back race ready. There you see the 71 of Eric Williams. Williams is going to be allowed to pit. They have a vibration apparently on car number 71, so the officials are working with Williams. They're going to let him come on to pit road and take a look at that car. It's a safety reason. You saw the puddles as Eric came on to pit road, and so they're going to take a look at car number 71 as the crew will go underneath the hood of Eric Williams' car and see if they can determine what the cause of the vibration is. Norm Andrews and Stacy Cahoon, your leaders. Andrews had a half a lap advantage, excuse me, before that yellow flag came out. And now Stacy Cahoon is right on his outside. Gary Caron and Red Mead line up in the second row, and then Brent Dragon currently rounds out the top five. Light stays on the Dodge pace car. They want to make sure this track is nice and dry for these competitors. With these tires they have, wet tracks just are not conducive to ACT late model sportsman cars. And So they're going to give them at least a couple more laps as the lights stay on the pace car. Williams still on pit road in car number 71. The 85 car, Doug Averill, that is a lap down, and the 27 of Spencer Robbins is down as well. So we did have the rain delay here at Oxford Plains Speedway, and that has made it a lot cooler now here at Oxford Plains. It's been a long day for everyone that came by to see this event, as we had a rain delay during the B feature. Light goes down on the Dodge pace car. We're getting set to go back to racing here in the Maine Dodge Dealers 100. Our next event will be over at Airborne Raceway in the Partstown 100 in Plattsburgh, New York. Be sure to join us for that event. We'll have all 8 ACT Late Model Sportsman Regional Series events. Greg Blake was the winner of the Partstown 100 at Thunder Road in Barrie, Vermont, our first broadcast this year. Here they come. Pace car coming in. Norm Andrews and Stacy Cahoon will lead them down. We're underway. Andrews on the inside, Cahoon up on the outside. Cahoon with a slight advantage down the backstretch. Stacy Cahoon with about a half car length over Storman. Norman Andrews. Andrews back on the inside in car number 2. They came across the stripe that time, dead even. These two competitors have been putting on a great race here at Oxford Plains Speedway today. Andrews with the lead now. Cahoon in second. Gary Caron is third. Redmead is fourth. There we look back to Brian Hoare. Brian Hoare has moved into the 5th spot in car number 45, the Dodge product. 6th is Dave Whitcomb. 7th now is Brent Dragon. And 8th is the 36, the Scott Carpenter. 9th, the point leader, Greg Berger Blake. And in 10th is 31, Lance Furno. Good run back there for 5th through 10th spots with Brian Hoare leading the charge. Back up front by about 4 car lengths. It's Storman. Norman Andrews the leader over Stacy Cahoon, who has about a 3 car length advantage over Gary Caron in third. Redmead goes fourth. Cahoon starts to reel in Norm Andrews in car number 2. Track is still a little slick out there. You can see some of the wet spots. There you look back to the 5th spot. And we may have a correction there. I think Dwayne Lamphere may be actually in the 5th spot at this point in car number 40. So Dwayne Lamphere, but not for long, as Brian Hoare looks up to the outside. Brian Hoare was the 1993 International Series champion. There you see Stacy Cahoon in the 2nd spot. Gary Caron is 3rd. Redmead is in 4th. Yellow flag coming out as Scott Robbins spinning to the inside of turn number 3. We also have another car, George Stone in car number 50. There's Robbins in the 72, the rookie driver, Robbins, who spun to the inside of turn number 3. And the number 50 of George Stone spinning, coming out of turn number 2. Stone in car number 50 from the Riverside Speedway, and there you see Stone's car, and waiting for the field to pass him by so he can get back underway. There's a curbing down there at the inside of the turn. That's why he didn't drive down into the infield. So George Stone gets going back in the right direction, as does Scott Robbins. There's 59 laps complete. Norm Andrews, Stacy Cahoon, and Gary Caron are your top 3 in the Maine Dodge Dealers 100.
Listen to the heartbeat of the earth. All life depends on that beat. The earth has always provided for us. Today, as in the past, we must keep this heart strong. Give back to the earth. Call 1-800-THE-SOIL for your free action packet. Harmony, a partnership with a healthy land.
Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if your heart is young. And here is the best part. Your have a head start if you are among the ones whose hearts is young.
It is a test, not just of strength, but of the power of the mind. And if you complete the journey, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Does anyone here think there'll be a cure for AIDS?
Definitely.
How do you know?
I don't know, but you have to believe. Some people don't believe AIDS is a problem that affects everyone.
And that's the biggest danger. People should realize AIDS is a threat to everyone.
I think it's just a matter of time before this was brought under control.
Some of us don't have the time.
Back at Oxford Plains Speedway, the green flag has just come out to get this race restarted. It's Karen on the inside, Cahoon on the outside. Here's Gary Karen down to the inside in the 22 Vermont. Gary Karen puts him 3 wide, and Gary Karen's not going to back off. Gary Karen for the lead. What a daring move by Gary Karen. Andrews had to lead by about a half a fender. Karen stays down on the inside, and Gary Karen is now your leader. There's a 75 Effecto going around. I'm not sure if he got touched or not. Oh, Heckbert gets into it. The 16, and Scott Luce gets into it as well, along with the number 16. That's Ron Henry. Scott Luce, the front end's gone on the car. Tim Cook is also involved. Field going around. Luce seems to have the worst end of it. Fecto is rolling now. Luce lost the front end on car number 60. As Fecto there. There's your new leader, Gary Karen. Here's the replay. Fecto by himself just loses it going into turn number 1. And then he gets hit by Heckbert. It looks like Ron Henry hit the brakes, and Scott Luce went into the back of him. After 67 laps, Gary Karen leads the Maine Dodge Dealers 100.
He didn't look. He didn't listen.
It's like him believing that if I could see him, that I could stop the train.
He drove right out in front of me. Didn't he know that sign meant yield?
Takes me 1.5 miles to stop. 1.5 miles.
The whole time I'm just praying. Praying that she would just move. She didn't move.
I want to be the greatest artist in the whole world. I want to work in a zoo and take care of animals when they're sick. I want to make buildings for real and skyscrapers.
U.S. savings bonds can help you get them to college so they can be what they want to be when they grow up.
I want to be a musician.
Even if they do keep changing their minds.
Ta-da!
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land, and sea. On November 10th, the United States Marine Corps celebrates its 220th birthday. Its proud and distinguished history will be remembered for that elite corps of men and women who have earned the title Marine. Happy birthday, Marines.
Thousands of women will lose a child to AIDS simply because they didn't get an HIV test when they were pregnant. You see, there's now treatment that can help stop the spread of HIV from mother to baby, which gives children of HIV-infected mothers something they never had before, a chance. If you're pregnant, please get an HIV test.
Back at Oxford Plains Speedway, getting set for a restart. Norm Andrews looks like he missed a shift because Cahoon gets by him in second. Now Andrews Back up to speed, Gary Caron, your leader. Here they come for the green flag, and we're back underway. Norm Andrews trying the slingshot there on the outside. It's Gary Caron in the 22, your leader. Norm Andrews in the 2 is second, and Stacy Cahoon sits in the 3rd spot. Cahoon to the inside of Andrews now, looking for the 2nd position. It's Cahoon down low, and Andrews up on the outside. Stacy Cahoon comes across the stripe that time. He's got 2nd. Back in the pack. Oh, the 91 gets hit by the 45 and goes around. Chris Hadstadt, caution flag is out. In turn number 2, Hadstadt going around. Looked like he got hit by the 45. We'll have to take a look at the replay on that. Caron is your leader as he takes it. Here's our replay. And, well, maybe Mike Bruno in the 22 New York slowed in front of Chris Hadstadt. Brian Hoare didn't have anywhere to go, tapped him, and Hadstadt rolled down the track. Field back in realignment as they're getting set for a restart now. They get the field back in order very quickly. Track still could be a little damp, and that also could have contributed to that incident. Here they come looking for the green flag. We're back underway. It's Caron in 1st, Cahoon in 2nd, and Andrews is 3rd. Now Andrews looks to the inside of Stacy Cahoon. Andrews down on the inside in car number 2 to the inside of Stacy Cahoon. Randy Potter is in the 4th spot at this point, and Chet DeVarney holds 5th. A good run for Chet DeVarney in the teddy bear car. It's Gary Caron, your leader. Norm Andrews still in 2nd, closing in on Caron. Then a car length back to Stacy Cahoon in the 83. Gary Caron, one of the famous Caron racing brothers out of the Burlington, Vermont area. His nephew Jay is a competitor with the American Canadian. Oh, Chet DeVarney goes around at the end of the backstretch. Yellow flag is out. Tracy Belrose had gone up off the track as well. So yellow flag coming out for Chet DeVarney, who was in the 5th spot. And DeVarney had a pretty good run going there and spinning at the end of the backstretch. So Chet DeVarney will have to see if he comes on to pit road. After 78 laps, Gary Caron the leader with Norm Andrews 2nd, Stacy Cahoon is 3rd. We'll be back after this.
Fruits and vegetables. You know, you ought to eat more of them. Yeah, eating 5 servings a day is a great way to stay healthy. You'll feel better and you'll have energy, too. Yeah, that's what the people from the National Cancer Institute say. After all, you are what you eat.
When I was young, I discovered music and practiced to become a musician. Later, I joined the Navy and became an officer and learned about discipline and teamwork and doing your best. Then playing pro ball, the dream of a lifetime. These are the things I love. These are my choices. But none of them would have come true if I hadn't made an important decision a long time ago. I don't do drugs. That's what's worked for me. Think about it.
Helmets on, and now our mouth guards. Why mouth guards? You should always wear a mouth guard while playing sports, whether you're playing baseball, basketball, skateboarding, football, or riding your bicycle. Mouth guards protect your teeth and your smile, and mouth guards are cool. Cool!
In times of need, all across the land, we're your friends and neighbors who lend a helping hand. When we were needed, we were there. Americans at their best. When we're needed, we'll be there.
Back at Oxford Plains Speedway, the Maine Dodge Dealers 100 in Oxford, Maine. And Gary Caron is the leader. He has about a 6-car length advantage over the second place runner of Stacy Cahoon. Norm Andrews, who led this event for quite some time. Cahoon and Andrews swapped the lead back and forth several times. Andrews runs currently in the third spot in car number 2. And that's where the battle is for second and third between Cahoon and Andrews right now. As Cahoon holding the second spot, Andrews keeps looking down on the inside, trying to find some room down there. Gary Caron has a little bit of breathing room in the lead right now, but it's Cahoon and Andrews putting on the battle out there. And they put on a great battle for the lead earlier on in this event. Andrews looks up on the outside now. Can't find any room. Of course, a little bit slick out there with that rain delay we had at the 45 lap mark. Randy Potter is in second. Yellow flag comes out. Caution flag out on the track as the 21. That's Tracy Belrose, and Leon Heckbert along with Henry Hudson having problems with 90 laps complete. Our next event in the American Canadian Tour Regional Series will be at the Airborne International Raceway, the big half-mile track in Plattsburgh, New York, for the Partstown 100. Be sure to join us on our many different stations throughout the Northeast for the Partstown 100 from Airborne. Coming up next with the American Canadian Tour Regional Series. Well, Dwayne Lanphier and Tracy Belrose have pulled up behind the pace car, and they want to make a pit stop. Dwayne Lanphier, who was having a pretty good run earlier on, but he's been going backwards in recent laps. So a problem on the car number 40 out of Morrisville, Vermont. And Tracy Belrose from Berlin, New Hampshire, the Miller Genuine Draft, number 21, New Hampshire. She's also looking to get some service done on her car. Your leader is Gary Caron. Stacy Cahoon is in second. There you see Lanphier and Belrose heading to pit road. Lanphier in to talks it over with his crew. Of course, these drivers do not have two-way radios, so they are unable to communicate the problems to the pits other than maybe through hand signals. But you see some wedge being put into the car number 21 of Tracy Belrose. We're getting set to go back to green flag conditions here at Oxford Plains Speedway, Maine Dodge Dealers 100. Pace car set to come in. Gary Caron, Stacy Cahoon, Norm Andrews, Randy Potter, and Dave Whitcomb. That's your top 5. We're back underway. 93 laps now complete. 7 to go in the Maine Dodge Dealers 100. Caron takes the lead in the 22. Here's a caution flag coming out immediately as Greg Berger Blake and Steve Miller have problems in turn number 2. Blake in the 27, he's the point leader, and Steve Miller, the 00, the former Airborne Raceway track champion, having problems down in the second turn. So the yellow flag coming out. Set to try to give them a restart once again. Of course, now we're into the situation with 5 laps to go. The last 5 laps must be run under green flag conditions. Not necessarily consecutively, however, but they must be 5 green flag laps. Scoring will continue, however, under the race procedure that they use for the ACT Regional Series, and that is just for position determination only. But they will run 5 green flag laps. A little smoke coming out of the back of Lance Furno's car, as we noticed. The light goes down on the Dodge pace car, and your leader is Gary Caron. Norm Andrews has moved to second. Stacy Cahoon is now in the 3rd spot. So Cahoon dropping back behind Andrews. 4th is Dave Whitcomb, the number 2 man in the point standings, and this incident here could help him. Oh, they'd almost tag the Dodge pace car. We're back underway. Caron on the inside, Andrews up on the outside. Gary Caron with a half a car length advantage down the backstretch into turn number 3. Andrews trying to come back on the outside once again. It's Caron down low, Andrews up high. Andrews gets a little loose off turn number 4, and Gary Caron is your leader. Now Andrews looks down on the inside of Karen. Can't find any room. Karen out to a half a car length advantage, but Andrews pulling back up. It's Gary Karen from Colchester, Vermont, your leader. The big move now is being made by Brian Hoare as he's trying to battle up. He's moved into the 5th spot. He's in a battle with Randy Potter. Karen, your leader. Andrews 2nd, and Cahoon is 3rd. Oh, Karen goes spinning in turn number 4. Gary Karen, the leader, is spun, and he's into one of the dirt banks. Ron Henry goes around as well. And caution flag is out with 3 laps remaining here in the Maine Dodge Dealers 100. Wow. Gary Karen spinning in turn number 4. Here's a replay of the incident. Norm Andrews might have got a piece of him to put him around. Gary Karen is going to the rear of the field, as we saw there in that replay. And we have to wonder if ACT Race Control will take a look at this incident and also put Norm Andrews back there. As they could very well do that. We'll have to wait and see what the decision is from the officials. But Gary Karen, the leader, to the rear of the field. Right now, Norm Andrews is the leader. We do understand, however, though, Norm Andrews is also going to go to the rear of the field in car number 2. This is what they call the Mike Rowe rule, where if the 2nd place car makes contact with the 1st place car and the 1st place car spins, both cars will go to the rear of the field. So Stacy Cahoon is going to become the new leader in the Maine Dodge Dealers 100 at Oxford Plains Speedway. So Cahoon moves to the lead. Dave Whitcomb will now be 3rd. Will move from 3rd to 2nd. Brian Hoare is in 3rd spot. Randy Potter is 4th, and Lance Furno is 5th on the grid now. There you see Storm and Norman Andrews being held to go to the rear of the field in car number 2. And he's going to go in right behind Gary Karen. So Norm Andrews being penalized here for apparently making contact with Gary Karen. So Stacy Cahoon is now the leader with Dave Whitcomb in 2nd and Brian Hoare holding down the 3rd spot. We'll be going back to green flag racing momentarily. They are starting to double up. Next time by, we should get the green flag. Stacy Cahoon and Dave Whitcomb up front. Then it's Brian Hoare and Randy Potter, and the smoke coming from underneath the hood of Lance Furno's car. Light goes back on the Dodge pace car, so we are going to have at least one more lap. But Furno having some smoke coming out from under the car number 31, the Chevrolet. We'll have to see if that causes him a problem here in the final few laps. So Cahoon gets the lead after Andrews is penalized for apparently spinning Gary Karen out of the lead. There you see your front row, Stacy Cahoon from St. Johnsbury, Vermont, Dave Whitcomb from Essex Junction, Vermont. Light down on the Dodge pace car. We should go green next time. Brian Hoare is 3rd, excuse me. Randy Potter is 4th. Lance Furno holds down the 5th spot in a smoking race car. They take him down the backstretch. And Greg Berger Blake had some problems in this event, so Dave Whitcomb may be able to pull up in the point standings. Blake's still out there running. Chuck Beatty's back there in the 6th spot. Here they come, looking for green. We're back underway. Stacy Cahoon in the 83, your leader. Whitcomb goes high, and Brian Hoare moves by for 2nd spot. Dave Whitcomb is back to the 3rd spot as Brian Hoare, the 93 International Series champion, moving to 2nd. This time by, they get the 2-lap indicator. Brian Hoare on the charge. He's charged up through the field. Stacy Cahoon, your leader. He didn't have a chance to qualify at Thunder Road because he wrecked his car in practice. Here's Brian Hoare in the Dodge product. Chevrolet versus Dodge. for the Maine Dodge Dealers 100. Final lap. One more time around this 4/10 mile oval. It's Stacy Cahoon by 2 car lengths down the backstretch. Brian Hoare in the second spot. Dave Whitcomb goes third in a Chevrolet. Here they come out of turn number 4. Your winner of the Maine Dodge Dealers 100 is Stacy Cahoon. Brian Hoare will finish up in second. Dave Whitcomb is third. Randy Potter is fourth. And a good run for Chuck Beatty, who rounds out the top 5. But Stacy Cahoon, little poetic justice here, not having a chance to qualify at Thunder Road due to the wreck in practice, now comes out, wins the Maine Dodge Dealers 100 for the American Canadian Tour Late Model Sportsman Regional Series. So there's your final result. Stacy Cahoon, the winner. Brian Hoare finishing up in second. Dave Whitcomb will close up in the point standings. He finishes up in third. Randy Potter finishes in the 4th spot. And Chuck Beatty finishes up in 5th in the Burger King car. So Beatty able to break into the top 5. He didn't look very well in qualifying, but he gets right back in there to move into the top 5. Here's your point standings. After 2 events, Greg Berger Blake is your leader at 162 points. He finished 10th today. Dave Whitcomb, who was third, 1 point behind at 161. Randy Potter is in the 3rd spot with 157. Lance Furno 4th at 148. And Chuck Beatty is in 5th spot with 136 points in the regional series standings. Here's a replay of that incident. This was the turning point in the event where Gary Caron spun, apparently tagged by Norm Andrews. And Andrews and Caron both went to the rear of the field under the ACT rules. Our next event for the American Canadian Tour Late Model Sportsman Regional Series will go to the half-mile oval at Airborne International Raceway in Plattsburgh, New York for the Partstown 100. Should be a great event. Under the lights, the first night race of the season for the regional series. However, this one is getting a little bit late here at Oxford Plains Speedway with the rain delays we had today. But we'll go under the lights over at Airborne International Raceway for the Partstown 100. We'd like to thank you for joining us, and we hope you will join us for the Partstown 100 at Airborne. I'm Scott Brimblecombe. So long from the Maine Dodge Dealers 100, where Stacy Cahoon was the winner.
This year, more than 2 million high school students will receive something very important. The opportunity to become a United States Marine. Don't throw your education away. For more information, call now.
Look, Doc, I don't know how to say this, but I've been having a little trouble. You know? Nah, it's not important. Yeah. It is important, so I'm just gonna say it. I can't say it.
Can't say what, Mr. Elick? You have a problem?
No, I'm fine, Doc.
Learn how to talk to your doctor. Call for a free booklet, 1-800-222-2225.